If we now get back to their official website, and here just at the bottom, here comes the width section. So if we click over here, we can see that this is the part where it is actually been defined. You can see that W0, this particular class, it uses a width of 0. W1 uses this particular width of 0.25 rem, W2 0.5 rem. So everything is been defined over here. In the similar manner, this is the width auto condition which has been presented over here. In the similar fashion, we can see that the class that we had used here, wfull, it has a width of 100%. And there goes another particular width which is known as wscreen. So this width, it is practically using the whole media device width, that means 100 VW. We had previously defined about all those measuring units which has been widely used in CSS. Now suppose we will be experimenting with some classes as been defined over here, such as this width 6, that means this class W6, or for say we are using this particular class of W32. If we use here W32 instead of this wfull, then this would have been the result. You can see that it now diminished into this size of this whole particular table element right over here. It is practically not the table element, it is a div element, but it is now having some kind of tabular display into your project. In that case, the first thing that we need to do, we need to set this particular thing here, mx auto condition, and it will be aligned into the central position. Now it will be easier for us to determine all those width and the relative classes. Now if we wish to have some larger table width over here, then all we need to do, we need to use some particular classes, right, such as this W56 or W64, or on the other hand, we can use all those classes been defined over here. Like this with 46, it is practically occupying the 66.6667% of your media device width, or this width of 112. So anything we can use from here. Let's use this particular W4/6 as been defined over here. So getting back, and here we are using this particular class of W4/6. Reloading, we can see that this will be the result, and if we press F12 and open up our code inspector panel and select this one, we can see that this is the class with 4/6, which is using a total width of 66.6667% of the available media device width into your project. So if we now press Ctrl+Shift+M and get back to our responsive preview, and if we press F12 again and select this particular div element right over here, we can see that the width is the same, 66.6667%. So this is how we can make usage of them. We can practically use any kind of width over here. We can practically make use of any kind of width over here, such as if we use here instead of 4/6, if we use here for say 9/12 class. First of all, let's have a check. 9/12, there it goes. This is the class which has been used over here, which will be occupying a total width of 70% of this available media device width. Now let's get back to our project and reload, and you can see that this will be the result. Get back to the larger desktop preview, and you can see that it is now practically occupying the 75% media device width of your project. Now this is what we need to know in our next case. What happens if we want some responsive previews?